Welcome to Maxwell's Playbook's Fitness Roadmap Podcast. I am Robin Fenner, founder of Maxwell's Playbook, and I'm with my husband, Rudy Fenner, who is a fitness trainer and very knowledgeable about all the things that will make us healthy in terms of fitness. Today, he suggested that we talk about connected fitness, and I was like, okay, I don't really know what that term means, and unless you've really been into some things like this, you might not know, just in case you don't. When he gets into it, you'll learn that you really know what it is. You just didn't know it kind of came under that umbrella, perhaps. So with that, I'm going to ask you to start by explaining what connected fitness is and how does it work.
Well, as usual, I'm going to take a step back and go back even further than that. I can't remember when this happened, and it may have been the first time I purchased something from Amazon. I made the purchase from Amazon, and I had also at the same time been introduced to an application work-related that had to do with requirements and RFPs and ordering systems. And I really quickly understood, and I think I said out loud, maybe even to you, the world just became smaller. And that was the introduction of all of this, and that's where all this starts. Textbook. Let me go textbook. What is connected fitness? When you just Google it, you basically get something like this. Connected fitness refers to the set of tools, whether apps or equipment, which bring together one's fitness and one's digital life, allowing fitness enthusiasts the near experience of working out in the gym from the safe and comfortable environment of their home. Wonderful, and I can't argue with anybody who is selling something. The definitions that they have that I found, like this one, tend to bring you to a marketplace for a product or service that they're trying to represent. My definition, what I wrote out when I really thought about it, is the instruction, monitoring, or recording of fitness events or activities done electronically. Boom.
That's much more simple to understand.
Boom. That's it. Go back to your earliest days in the gym. I made a lot of money when I was in my 30s as a trainer to hold a clipboard and tell people what to do next.
Right, exactly.
That is as manual as you get. Right.
Yes, exactly.
When they came back to the gym next week, they asked, what did we do?
Right. I never remembered the exercise.
And I had to tell them what we did. And I kept the records. I still have records now from 20 years ago with people that I trained, because I'm weird like that. And my wife is a typical wife who's always asking me, why do you keep this stuff? But I have records, and what those records were points of reference that we used weeks, months, a year down the road to understand the training, to understand the successes and the failures.
Yeah.
Connected fitness does multiple things. One of the things I wrote down was recording. It records what we do. It electronically stores, and for all of you techno wizzo people like me, you know, because it's cloud-based, the storage is almost infinite. So I can train for the next 20 years and I can almost have a record of everything I did, and it will cost me almost nothing to store that information. So the recording is the guy doing the recording was replaced. The instruction is, I was paid a lot of money to tell people, okay, now do this. Now do this. And a lot of what I did was I would prep and I would do all sorts of things and I would think about it the night before. So providing the instruction, that's in connected fitness. The other notice I wrote to myself was AI, which is the artificial intelligence part. And this is where everything just gets crazy. Let me be brutally honest and let me just state this. It isn't as exciting to all people as it is to me. My wife thinks artificial intelligence is going to be in the bedroom and kill us all one night. And she has just a horrible fear of where it's going. And it's not just hers alone. There's a lot of documented concern with the potential for AI. And that's true. Because if I get up every morning and I go to the gym at 4:45, when I get up one morning, my phone tells me, it will take you 5 minutes to get to the gym.
Sounds right.
And it can creep people out.
Yeah. Well, Alexa starts playing stuff when I come downstairs. That's not, no.
So
I unplug Alexa.
So
we're playing by herself.
Understood, but also understand the flip side. Well, okay, so What you just heard was my wife used the magic word, and the person who she called just spoke out. So please excuse it. That was so incredibly fantastic. Welcome to our homes moment. But anyway, what happens in an artificial intelligence scenario is that my Apple app begins to tell me things that it needs to do to push my pace and push my tendencies and push and push and push, because it already knows that if I do the exact same thing every day, I'll stall out.
You know they can turn that off.
Right. You can. But if you leave it on, you will experience what we experienced. Sidebar, digress just a little bit to understand. One of the reasons that we're so excited about talking about this and sharing it with everybody is we want everybody to have the same shared experience that we had. When you go get your physical, we did that yesterday, and both people who get their physical weigh less than they weighed the year before, and both people who are getting their physical have better blood pressure than they did before. That's why we're here. Sidebar. Just want to say that.
That's good. That's good. That's exactly right. Yes.
So, but anyway, so the artificial intelligence has the ability to do the navigating for you. If you truly had autonomous vehicles that I wanted to go to Florida, and I get in and I say the address in Florida that I'm going to, and I go in the back and I have a soda and popcorn with the kids and watch a movie, that's a crazy mad trip. That's brilliant, and that is, in essence, is what it's trying to do. So when I provide that definition, instruction, monitoring, and recording, that's what we're really doing through apps, and then we're integrating the VTC like video teleconferencing like capabilities in. So now you have these products, and these products aren't just giving you a stale, stamped out, here's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And it is not reacting or responding to you at all. These apps are able to interact with you live. Excuse me. And I'm sure in some cases, I have not dug down deep in this, but you have the ability, I'm sure in some cases, to have a one-on-one experience. I keep watching that mirror ad.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I have a mirror on my wall who served its purpose by allowing me to know if my tie is straight or not. We already said the mirror was already earning its keep already. The mirror is going to go steroid level. And now the mirror not only tells me that my tie is straight, but it also says your jumping jack form is off. You need to come up a little high off the ground. We need to do 3 more. I'm looking at your heart rate and it's just not where it was yesterday. We need to push a little more. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're working out with someone.
That is connected fitness.
Form and all of that.
Connected fitness is the mirror coming back the next day and saying, hey, your heart rate was here, and it was almost like a high intensity session. Why don't we consider a steady cardio state session today? We're going to bring it down because we're thinking about tomorrow. We want to bring the gas tomorrow. How about that? That's where it potentially can go. Right. So I said, what are the benefits of connected fitness? I said instruction, recording, artificial intelligence. And at the end, the note I wrote was a greater chance of success.
Right.
Which is the real key. I mean, what I really want to do, okay. Don't be emotional. I'm sorry. I'm not, although when I'm home, because I have an incredible facility to work out and train in, I love being here and I love spending time down here, and people yell down the steps and ask, what are you doing? Because I'll be down here too long.
That would not be me.
But I'm not down here so long and doing this that I don't care about the results. I still want results. I want to go back every year and I want to be a little bit lighter, even if it's a pound. I want to be 1 pound lighter at my next physical than I was at this physical. I want the same for you, and I want the same for everybody that we talk to, everybody that I interact with. I want you to be a little bit better next year than you were this year. Because again, we always say life's coming. I want you to prepare for it. So I want your chances of success to be better.
Good. Okay. So you mentioned a couple of things in just a few moments ago, but can you kind of go through and give us some examples of connected fitness tools and some of the apps that I'm sure folks, like I said, now that you've heard a little bit about this, you kind of know what this is. So let's kind of dive in a little bit with what you can use.
We had on the bleeding edge of all of this, obviously, was Peloton. They were the first people that we heard about who came along with an interactive, connected service. My mind was very limited in that all I cared about was me, right? So what I cared about, I was like, rah, 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 Peloton, rah, rah. Because Peloton, the perception was Peloton competed with me as a trainer. Immediately, I began to realize that Peloton, no, sir, it doesn't compete with you as a trainer. You're not even in the same hemisphere, global. You're not in the same universe. You're not anything at all remotely connected to Peloton. Because what Peloton does is they're going to tell people to do what you did. They're going to record more accurately than you did. They're going to not only do those things, but they're going to monitor the person. They're going to tell them where they are. They're going to pull the gas back when it needs to be pulled back. So they're so far ahead of you in terms of the monitoring, the call outs, the everything. And then you throw in the virtual
Classes?
video teleconferencing component where a trainer is actually saying, good job, Robin. Come on, this is much better than yesterday, Robin. You are killing it. And you begin to establish a relationship with these things. So Peloton was at the bleeding edge, and they came out with all those features. Then you had Echelon. You've got Zwift cycles and runners. You got Strata. You have the Mirror. And I just saw the other day, okay, men and women who love basketball, brace yourselves. This is nuts. SIQ Smart Basketball, SIQ Smart Basketball. Look it up on Amazon. It is a basketball that tracks your shots, your shooting, everything that you do on the basketball court to help you be better at the game if you play. When I saw that, it's only $100, and I know that's like gigantic for some people, and I say only because the technology is mind-blowing for that price. So we are reaching a point now where everybody that's any local people local to the DMV, one of the most fascinating things I learned about the Wizards when they were really bad was that a statistic that they had was somebody made a point of reference to how frequently John Wall dribbled the ball. And I didn't, what are you talking about? They actually had statistically through apps, they can tell you where he stands and what he does while he's standing there.
That's amazing.
Which comes to understanding the success and the failure of the team and why plays break down and this and that. So connected fitness is much larger than anything that anybody has said. And that's why it needs an open air description like I had. And those are just some items that are out there.
You know, I remember talking to you when we were doing the cycle classes in the gym. And I used to think, boy, we really need to be able to see, you know, to imagine I'm going somewhere, I'm going for a ride, you know, in New York City, I'm going for a ride here, there, whatever. And now that Nordic track that's out there with that screen does exactly that.
Yeah, I didn't even mention that, but this is
game.
amazing. Yeah, from runs to rides, and they put you in the space.
Yeah.
And just listen. We're not on the section of the discussion yet about where it's going, but you know virtual reality is coming.
Yeah.
And if virtual reality is coming and you can find a way to put those glasses on or put something on that makes you comfortable. We saw 5G in some games recently, and that makes you feel like you're on set, on scene without any glasses. As that stuff progresses, we're not far from almost really being there.
Yeah. I've got to get that Nordic track, though.
Nuts.
I really like that. That
That's
treadmill.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Treadmill?
They have everything.
Okay, yeah.
They've got it all.
I love what I've seen on their ads, so we'll have to see about that. But anyway, okay. So can you talk a little bit about how we've benefited from that? Results from
Okay, and so what we just listed were items that are out there, the playing field, and what we've seen and what we know to exist. And believe me, we just put a small dent in it. Personally, we have used several apps. The first is our Apple Watches and the health app on our phones.
Right.
What that has allowed us to do is to track all of our workouts. The AI provides incentives that push you in a direction. So some of us are runners, and there are some runners that need to lift. There are some people that love to lift that don't really like to run. So what the AI is doing is always assessing where you are and prodding you in a direction to help you create that total wellness picture that is what's best for us all. So we've used that, and it has been tremendous in terms of allowing me to go back and see and what you're really looking at is trends. It helps me to understand how I'm trending. We talked a couple of sessions ago about max VO2, how my body's processing air.
Right.
And it allows me to know if that's going up or down. The better that number is, the better my body is processing air, the overall more fit I'm going to be in my day-to-day. So it allows me to track that. My blood pressure, I'm actually able to track that. Well, through the health app, I'm able to track that. I had Ormond had a blood pressure cuff that I was using that I could manually enter that in.
The scale.
Yeah. Okay. So okay.
Yeah.
So that's let me talk about that. So I mentioned Ormond and my brain drifted to another thing. So let me stick to what Robin just said. Let me do that. I have a Renpho scale, RENPHO. It's a scale that you stand on, and it immediately reads out, gives you weight, gives you everything, connects to an app on your phone, and everything is recorded.
It gives you more than you want to know.
Yeah.
Body fat, all that kind of
now,
stuff.
It's I wrote the word down because I wanted to make sure I say it right. Bioelectrical impedance analysis, BIA, is how it works. A lot of people poo-poo that, and they say it isn't as effective because you can drink water. It depends on the person's body composition and all sorts of things, how effective it is. I'm not going to debate that. What I'm going to debate is the merits of the tool, because what I'm always trying to understand and watch are trends. Mm-hmm. I don't really need to know exactly what my bone mineral content is as much as I need to know, is my bone mineral content decreasing?
Right.
Because if it's on a downward trend, that's what needs to go to a doctor, a medical professional, for a deeper assessment. Mm-hmm. Is my body fat going up? I don't need the actual exact number. I need to know, did I slip into something nutritionally, from a diet perspective, that caused my body fat to begin to increase, and I was totally oblivious to it. That's what I'm really looking for.
Right.
People, I mean, we seem to, well, now more than ever, but all of my life, we tend to park our cars on the negative road. And all we want to do is assess the negative aspects of something. I understand the negative aspects, and I'm not debating that, but I'm not going to question or believe something is useless because it is not perfect, right? If that's the case, people would probably have nothing to do with me because I'm not perfect, right? So I think we need to look at it. And that Renpho scale is just mind blowing. I think the scale was maybe $35.
Yeah.
The app was free, and I have a trend now of my weight, and it allowed me to accurately predict what would happen at Christmas time. I posted things for Christmas, and I warned people about weight in Christmas. I went in at 165. By the end of Christmas, I weighed 172.
Yeah.
I got back, just for the record, I'm back down to 163. Do not play with your boy. I don't take that. But anyway, it allowed me to monitor it, and I would have been brain dead. You want to know how you gain 50, 60 pounds over a number of years? Just keep doing Christmas. Keep doing birthdays.
Yeah.
It's normal behavior to enjoy those holidays. But if I'm monitoring it, I'm tracking it, I'm going to respond to what I did. I'm going to respond to whatever happened. And now I'm going to do things to take that back down.
You know, that takes me back a little bit to what we first said when we first started the podcast. It was about the mindset.
Ooh.
And this is about keeping that mindset. And it's not just at the beginning when you say, okay, I want to do these things, and here's why, but also following what you know is working well for you throughout and making those adjustments. So these tools, that Rudy's talking about today are the kinds of things that will help you do that.
Yeah.
Because once you start, if you've been going along with us, right now you're in a good routine, which is great.
Right.
So you want to be able to monitor this as you go through it, and you're making sure you adjust and you keep it up.
And you said that, and you made me think about one thing, and I've said this before, and I will always repeat this because I just need to be true to myself. Sleep is my nemesis. That's what I hate. I recently purchased, and you can, and I'm sorry, it's Aiken or Icon. I can't remember the name, and I didn't have the spelling down here, and I don't have it with me because I'm wearing my Apple Watch today. This watch was $28. Do not tell me that you don't have $28 because some of us are drinking $28 on Friday night. It's $28. We wish it was $28. But this watch does all of the activity tracking that the Apple Watch does. It doesn't necessarily create the world that Apple is the ecosystem that Apple is trying to create. It's not the same strategy, but what it does is amazing. It tracks my sleep incredibly, but it also tracks blood oxygen, pulse, and hang on, folks, blood pressure. So I have a watch for $28 that tracks my blood pressure. And again, don't send me a note and tell me about its accuracy. What I want you to pay attention to is the trends. Is my blood pressure going up or is it going down?
Where is that reported? Is it just reported on your watch, or
It's reported on my
app?
on the phone. So I have their app, and also the Apple Health app takes the data in.
Okay, so that can combine all of that. Okay,
yes,
all right. I hadn't tried that because I only use the Apple Watch for
Yes.
recording. So
Yeah.
okay,
So that app is just, that watch and that app, that whole system is just brilliant. And it made, honestly, my blood pressure cuff has dust on it because I don't need to pull it out. I don't need to pull those tools out. And the Ormond blood pressure cuff is a perfect cuff. It was a characteristic. A characteristic of it I was trying to remember, and I lost it. It was Bluetooth. I'm sorry, that's the word. Just lost my mind. It's Bluetooth connected to blood pressure cuff. I've got all kinds of tools, and all of them are being pushed away because that watch for $28 does everything, and it does it faster, smarter, and it records what I did.
right.
So it's brilliant. So the Renpho scale, the Very Fit Pro app, and the watch that goes along with it, and the Apple Watch, those are the things I wanted to make sure that I talked about that we are currently using. And I am always looking at new toys. I'm always looking at new stuff. So I'm sure in time we'll bring something else in, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah. Oh, great. Okay. So those are tools that we can use and that we are using, and I found very helpful. Hopefully you will look into some of those too. So tell me a little bit about what's next. What do you see coming down the road for connected fitness?
So I am not a paid professional, but it is a love and a passion that I have. So I'm always kind of looking at this, and I did have a connection and do have connections with a company that is into biomarkers and some fitness areas. And so it is an area of interest to me. The pandemic had an amazing effect on us. Again, I'm always state is one of the most horrible things I've experienced in my life. As a nation, we as a world, it is in my lifetime, in my 60 some odd years, there's been nothing worse. So let's state that up front. And there's no confusion about that. But there are some surprisingly fascinating things that came from it. The pandemic pushed the internet, and it pushed internet access. So what that did was it opened up the world to more people. And so these tools now are accessible and can be used in places that did not have internet connectivity before and did not have any potential for it. And now it's in the game. There was some statistics that I found in an article that was a fascinating article. And who was this? It was I want to source this correctly. Gym Source, I think, was where it came from, and they had some fascinating things. So, for example, during COVID, there was a Couch to 5K running app. It was downloaded by 1 million people.
And what was that app? Was it supposed to get people from the couch to be able to run
from the couch
5K?
for 5K?
Oh, that's really cool.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
1 million people.
Yeah.
They did not predict and project that growth. I promise you they didn't. It said, there's a note in there that said the pandemic has increased awareness and entrenched habits. Wow, that's kind of deep. So we've been, in some cases, locked down for months. We have some things that we're doing. And so we have some habits that we've created that we didn't have before. And it's made us aware of things because we didn't even have time to look at it before. That's fascinating. It went on to say that a growth rate of 12 to 4% is expected over the next 5 years for wearables. That's significant. And all of the companies, Google, Apple, everybody is doubling down on their investment in all of those products and all of those tools. When you ask about where it's going, I think because of the internet success, they're going to expand their offerings. Almost anybody, if you own a gym, you have to have a web-based offering. That's my opinion. If you are a trainer, you have to right now go start working on your internet, your web presence, and you have to have an offering that is something that can be done with somebody's phone.
That's what I was going to ask you, because what does that mean for the fitness trainer that was, the friend we saw in the gym who got us in shape, and like you used to do years ago? What is the future for trainers and gyms?
Yeah, you have to have. I'm beginning to post more online. Excuse me. We just did one today where I was demonstrating burpees and talking about that. So we're beginning to do it more. But if you are in that business, you have to have a web-based presence. And you got to get that down like you got all your other skills down. That's a part of your skill set. It has to be. No real choice in that. Right. So gyms, trainers, you have to get that down. In terms of what's next, I think in the space that we were in, the company CoreSight that I've been a part of for a number of years now, we used sweat, and we use sweat science. And you're going to see more and more tools like this. I saw a press release just the other day from a company in India. And what you're using is biomarkers. There's so much in sweat that tells you what's going on in your body. Gatorade has desperately worked on that. Powerade is desperately working. A body armor is desperately working. Because here's the thing. You don't know when you need to drink. The only way you know you needed to drink and add electrolytes is you're cramping. That's too late.
So theoretically, how would that work? Like, how would you know?
It would read sweat.
From
understand, so you put on some kind of band, even a watch like this, just like you have the indicators on the bottom that read and give me my data. You'd have data that's perhaps sweat related, that's reading your sweat. It's breaking down that sweat and it's understanding the electrolyte balance is in there. And when the electrolytes are out of balance, you get a warning to drink.
Oh, kind of like it's time to stand.
Correct. Just like the time to stand warning. Okay. Exactly. Okay. Right. Because I don't want to experience a cramp. I want to be proactive, but at the same time, I don't want to ingest a lot of things that are unnecessary if I'm not even in an electrolyte dangerous spot. So when to hydrate, I think it will eventually tell you when you need to eat protein. What if I'm able to tell you if you are at a point where there's a deficiency somewhere nutritionally, electrolyte-wise, you have a deficiency that's going to lead to a strain or tear, and I can tell you something to do before the strain or tear occurs.
That's pretty wild.
That's revolutionary in sports. How about if I can tell you before your Achilles tears that chemically things have broken down to a point that the tear might occur? Boom. Yeah. It changes. That's there.
How far away is it? When you say it's there, like
I think the science is there because they're learning more about cortisol. They're learning more about sweat. As those sciences there, it's sort of like they understand it and are beginning to break it down over here. How do I get it from you and merge it to a place where we can maximize the data and deliver results to you?
Right.
That's the challenge.
Wow. Okay.
That's the challenge. There's also I had a note, couple of notes down here. After I talked about, I'm sorry, I got to say this because I forgot. Right now, it's tough to know if somebody is concussed or not. One of the biggest problems in the NFL and NCAA in terms of football, lacrosse, soccer, is somebody has concussion. They can lie and tell you it's not. I don't have those symptoms. If they can count fingers, if they can struggle through and count their fingers and kind of fake their way through it, you don't know they have a concussion. What if your body releases a chemical when you have a concussion? And if I find traces of that chemical, I know you were concussed, and I don't have to ask you anymore.
Wow.
So that stuff is there.
And immediate, yeah.
There's some science that's beginning to reflect that stuff is there. It's just a matter of how do we collect it, how do we get the data, and how do we serve it up in a report.
Right.
I did not even mention biometric garments. What? What? What about this?
Okay.
Scratch the watch.
Yeah.
Scratch the chest band and all of that.
Yeah.
You put on a shirt, and the shirt has sensors in it that pick up your heart rate, pick up your blood pressure, pick up all of your vitals in your shirt. You don't need to wear anything. You got it on all the time.
And it sends it to the cloud.
Sends it to the cloud. It sends a report back to you, and it says, "Hey, by the way, yesterday you did not eat your vegetables, and here's what I noticed." Yeah, it's incredible. And you take all of that and you integrate the monitors and sensors that supply the data to a single source for a holistic view of one's physical performance.
That's very good. That's very, very comprehensive. And the farther along we go, there's less that you have to do to be proactive about it. Right. Honestly, you just wear something, and it collects it for you, and it really helps you stay on the right track and get on track. Yeah. So you're able to monitor your improvements or changes, and adjust to address.
Yeah, we are there are a number of race teams that are out there, because keep in mind that the fringe people are the people that are going to do this first. And I say fringe in terms they're different, their behavior is different, and their activities are different. One of the things that you're really looking at is how are some of these groups going to make better drivers, make better performers at different sports, make better athletes, pilots. I got a $1 million, multi-million, in some cases almost $1 billion machine, and I don't know anything about the person that's piloting it, driving it. How do I make that one person? I had one note I was trying to find. Wayne Taylor Racing is a race team, NASCAR and some of the other guys. They are really into driver science. And those are the kind of guys that are going to push us, because what they're doing, I need to know about this guy. It's not enough to buy insurance. I need to ensure myself that he's functioning at his best, because I gave him the best race car and we finished in the middle of the pack because he was not physically ready.
Yeah.
How do I know that he's ready? And in-game work. If I've got drivers during the Daytona 500 that are losing weight because they're dehydrating at such a rate, I want to get fluids into them. I want to make sure I get the right fluids in. I need to measure. I need to understand. Those are the guys that are going to take us into the next planet. And absolutely.
And girls. And gals.
Yeah.
And women.
When I say guys, okay. I use that as a I'll try to change, but I'm not. There are some amazing women race car drivers. That is not a statement that is men only. But in sports, I experience a certain number, and I don't have the number available to me right now. Ultimately, here's where this needs to go. We experience every year annually a certain number of deaths in basketball and football because people's bodies were compromised to a point where it led to death. There are protocols that are out there that, when followed, help with dehydration and heat strokes. I don't want to require those protocols anymore. I want to be able to monitor you to a point that as you begin to step into trouble, I take you to a place and we begin to work towards resolving that before trouble even starts.
Oh, yeah. That would be
That
awesome.
is ultimately what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
I don't want you to experience a migraine. How about this? Oh, hold on to your seats, boys and girls.
Uh-oh.
How about this? Before you get a migraine, perhaps it's a chemical that your body releases.
I bet there is.
If the chemical is released and I'm able to monitor and pick it up, you see that the chemical is there. You know to do something to take an action before you even experience the migraine.
Right.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
That's where we're going. That's the point of all of this. It isn't just about Serena and LeBron and athletes doing what they do. It is about maximizing human potential on a daily basis.
That means you. It's
Absolutely.
not just the stars, but these are things that are out there, and we've gone kind of way out there in a number of ways today. But
it's real.
But it's real, and it's coming fast.
Very fast.
So this is really awesome, and a really great way to monitor kind of where you are, where you're going, how you're developing.
And there's no excuse not to use some of these because they're just too cheap.
Yeah.
It was a time when it was cost prohibitive, but we're at a point now where this is so cheap. Everybody that's listening to this should have a sleep monitor because we know you can get it for $28.
What kind of monitor?
A sleep monitor.
What kind?
Sleep monitor.
Sleep. Monitor sleep.
Once again, a man steps into his own traps.
Yeah, but we know how important sleeping is. Sleeping is critical. So, it's a real balancing
My average is
act.
up. I'm doing better.
You're out. That's very good.
It's only
Your average
because
is up. Yes.
I was able to measure and understand how bad I was doing.
Yes. But just trying to stress the importance of all of this and having this balanced life in terms of your health and your fitness is really, really critical, and kind of making those adjustments because none of us are perfect.
Yep.
But we want to make those adjustments where we can, and so we can always do and be at our best.
Correct.
Because we have a lot to do, a lot to look forward to, and hopefully for a very long time.
Right, and we want you to begin to, the goal is we want more people in their 60s and 70s making big-time plans because they're functioning fully, they're ready to go, the kids are grown, you got less responsibility, and now it's time to play and have a good time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I always wanted for us. We got married when we were relatively young.
Babies.
And I wanted to have my kids when I was young because I wanted them to grow up so that the two of of us could have more time together.
That's right.
So that's exactly what we've been able to do.
Praise God, we've lived into it.
Amen. So we're doing that, and we just want to be healthy while we're doing it. You feel better. You can do things like you never thought you'd do.
Yep.
So that really can work for you.
Yes.
All right. So thank you once again for joining me today.
That's fun. I love that. It's a great topic.
Yes.
Hopefully, I'm hoping that we get to demonstrate some of these things at some point as we move forward in the podcast and actually use them and show some screens and let everybody see that. And you had some other things that I think you want to do with this coming up.
Yes, we actually are going to have a couple of folks who are trying out some of these different applications, some of the apps and cycles and things that are out there, and we're going to actually have a review of them. So that will be coming up. You, of course, will see the preview on social media, so make sure you're following Maxwell's Playbook and Rudy Fenner 7, number 7, on Instagram, and we're on Facebook, so you'll find out when things are coming up. And, please like our YouTube channel if you're looking at that, like the podcast, and also we subscribe to the podcast itself, so you will see it when it comes out.
Awesome.
All right. So thank you so much for listening and watching. We really appreciate you, and hope that you continue, and hope that we're sharing information that's going to help make your life better.
And for any of you all that have sent us little side notes about what we do, it has been overwhelming. We did this because we loved it, and we thought it was something that would be of value for at least one person to hear. And we've heard things from people about what they get out of this, and it is kind of overwhelming. If 3 people find ways to connect to their lives, to connect to their relationships, it is worth doing it every single day every single day that we can. So thank you for any mentions, any just thumbs up that you gave us on the phone, or just anything. That is so greatly appreciated. We can't express that enough.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
See you next time. Be blessed. Be fit.